I am your host, Tim Collins, and this is Answer the Call podcast. We have a lot to talk about today, guys. Free agency just happened, last week, and it's still kind of going on, but man, was it ever a good one? There was a lot of names that went to teams I was a little shocked on. You know, Cooper Cup going to the Seattle Seahawks, Devontae Adams going to the Rams. I was actually shocked Najee Harris went to the LA Chargers. A lot of teams went out and spent the money. Commanders are one of them. We're gonna talk about them in just a little bit, but the Commanders went out and they got some good pieces. The one question mark now though remains is where's Aaron Rodgers gonna go? Where's Aaron Rodgers gonna go? We don't know, and I still haven't heard anything. He hasn't signed with the team. I know the Giants, Steelers, and Vikings all have interest. I know Vikings maybe want to pursue let JJ develop, but so really it's like a two-headed race, and both teams are desperately needing a quarterback. Now the Steelers do have a backup plan in Russell Wilson, but I don't know. Could we have seen the last of Aaron Rodgers? He might have just, he might retire if he doesn't go to the Vikings. So we have winners, losers of free agency today, and I'm going to, kind of start my track and my journey of doing some mock drafts. I don't have one for today's episode, but we're going to start working our way into some of these mock drafts as we get closer to the NFL draft next month. It is St. Patty's Day live from the press box. It's Answer the Call, and we're going to get started. Winners, losers, free agency. There's a few winners, a couple losers, and we're just going to lay it out there for you guys because there's no other way to do it. Big winner, I thought the Minnesota Vikings did a great job in free agency. They let Sam Darnold walk, but they still have J.J. McCarthy, and he should be ready to go by the start of the season. Vikings took full advantage of his rookie contract. He is still on that rookie contract, and they took advantage of it, guys. The Vikings brought back Aaron Jones on a 2-year deal. They bolstered their O-line with signings offensive tackle Justin Skule, offensive guard Will Fries, and center Ryan Kelly. That will definitely help protect JJ and with the run game. Those three right there, they just solidified their offensive line. Now you got a rookie quarterback. You got 2 stud wide receivers. You have a great tight end. You have a good running back, which I expect them to probably take another back in the draft. But they did just trade for Jordan Mason, so we don't know. That would definitely help. Where the Vikings really won in free agency is on the defense. First, they brought back long-time Viking Harrison Smith on a 1-year deal. He's going to play his 14th season with the Vikings, all with the Vikings. What a career he's had, and he's back on a 1-year deal. They also brought back another key part of their secondary, re-signing Byron Murphy to a 3-year deal, and safety Theo Jackson extended through 2027. The Vikings also brought in some more secondary help with the signings of cornerbacks Isaiah Rodgers and Tavir Thomas. I hope I pronounced that right, but they bolstered their defensive line in a big way, landing both defensive tackles Jonathan Allen and Javon Hargrave. So, they got some good defensive line. They got great secondary now. They're in a great spot, but they are going to have to hit some home runs in the draft. The Vikings also added some running back depth, acquiring Jordan Mason from the 49ers with a trade. With that trade, the Vikings only have 4 picks in this year's draft unless they trade back out of the first round, which that could be a possibility, guys. That could be a possibility that they do. But I mean, they're in a great position right now to kind of take best player available. Maybe a running back, maybe another D lineman, a linebacker, trade out. So they definitely have the tools that they got in free agency, but they're going to have to hit the home runs because they only have 4 picks. They had the 24th overall. So they in round one, 24th overall. Round three, they had the 97th overall. Round five, they had the 139th overall. And round six, they had the 187th overall. So, like I said, they're going to have to hit some home runs, or they're going to have to trade back and acquire a few extra picks. You know, if they trade just to the beginning of the second round, then get a second round, maybe a third round pick to kind of help, you know, with the lack of draft picks. You know, they don't need a lot. They don't need a lot. They were a playoff team last year. And, you know, a name that comes to mind, I don't know. Maybe they want another tackle. You know, maybe they want to solidify that offensive line a little bit more. Maybe they want an edge rusher. Maybe they want a linebacker. So they don't need a whole lot. They don't have a lot to work with in the draft. So it'll be really interesting to see how the Minnesota Vikings go about it. Now, we're going to stay right here in the NFC North with this next team, guys. The Chicago Bears. And arguably, I mean, they didn't do a whole lot, but the moves that they made were spectacular. All right. They were spectacular. They're a big winner. The big winner, though, for the Bears, and for me, is Caleb Williams. I feel like, you know, he really kind of came out of free agency the biggest winner because the Bears O-line was bad last year. New head coach Ben Johnson and GM Ryan Poole wasted no time addressing the need for O-line help. They traded for a pair of guards. You know, if you guys remember, the Bears made a trade with the Rams for guard Jonah Jackson for a 2025 sixth-round pick. You know, Jackson is a pretty good guard. And then they traded with the Chiefs for Pro Bowl, All Pro Joe Thuney for a 2026 fourth. So, I mean, right there, they already solidified their offensive line just with those two trades. Didn't give up a whole lot of draft capital to do so. And I got to tell you, I'm a big fan. You know, obviously the Bears O-line last year was really horrendous, and Caleb Williams was fighting for his life and running around like a chicken with his head cut off. But, you know, Ben Johnson, he has a plan, he has a vision, and he's going to be very physical at the line of scrimmage. And they went out and got a couple guards. Now, they weren't done there, though, okay? They weren't done there as far as bolstering their O-line. They then went out and signed center Drew Dolman. He was a former Falcon, you know, so they got him. And then they went to the defensive side. They're like, you know what? We got our offensive line. Now we're going to focus on defensive line. And they got defensive tackle Grady Jarrett and edge rusher Deo Adingbo. I'm excited to see how this season goes for the Bears. You know, Caleb Williams gets a lot of hate because what he said last year. You know, he came out and told the punter that, you know, he wasn't going to be used as much, and, you know, that he could just he was going to have an easy season because the Bears weren't going to be punting the ball a lot. Well, we all know how that went. The punter actually at one point had more punt yards than Caleb did passing yards. But, you know, that was the old coaching staff. Ben Johnson's got his new coaching staff, and I'm excited to see what happens. I'm excited for the Bears this season. I'm excited to see what happens in the draft. The Bears have 4 picks in the first 100. So in the first 100 picks, they have 4. That's a great start, with 3 of them being in the top 50. That's a great way to start. You know, the Bears have the 10th overall pick. Now, with the free agency playing out the way that it did, the Bears are in a great position. They could draft, they could trade back, acquire a few extra picks. I predict that they're going to stay put at 10, and I got 2 names that I think that they'll take, and the first is Ashton Genty. You know, they got DeAndre Swift. Go get Ashton Genty, kind of like a Sonic and Knuckles version, their version of Sonic and Knuckles in Chicago. The next one is Tyler Warren, the tight end from Penn State. I like him here because Ben Johnson likes to run that 12 personnel a lot, and having 2 tight ends, Cole Kmet on one side, Tyler Warren on the other. You know, not to mention Roma Dunze and DJ Moore at the receivers, plus, you know, DeAndre Swift at running back. I mean that would be a scary offense. So now in round two they have the 39th and 41st overall, where they could get some great value, or they may even try to package those and trade back into the first round. The Bears have they've had a great offseason, or in position to have a great draft. So great draft, great offseason. I think the Bears turn it around. The Bears are uh, on St. Patty's Day, live at the press box on Answer the Call podcast. I am calling it now. The Chicago Bears will make the playoffs. I don't even know what the draft's going to be like, but I'm telling you right now, on St. Patty's Day, happy St. Patty's Day to the Chicago Bears, because they are going to make the playoffs. Now, before we continue on with a few of these other winners, I got to tell you some news that happened late last night. Jamar Chase and T. Higgins both got big contracts with the Bengals. Jamar Chase, a 4-year, $161 million deal with $112 million guaranteed, and T. Higgins got a 4-year, $115 million. So they're going to be, that core offense is going to be right there. You know, Joe Burrow, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase. The only bad part is now they paid Burrow, they paid Higgins, they paid Chase. They don't have a lot of money to be spending elsewhere. They're going to have to hit some home runs in the draft. And with that, I think that the Bengals should probably target a defensive player, help in the secondary, maybe another edge rusher to pair with Hendrickson, or maybe a linebacker, but definitely a corner. I would definitely look for them to go corner. At one point, I thought maybe they would take a tight end, but I don't think that's going to be the case now with the signings of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. Speaking of signings that happened early this morning, Texans extend Derek Stingley Jr. with a 3-year, $90 million deal with $89 million guaranteed. Wow. Holy cow. That is a deal for a corner, let me tell you. That is a deal for a corner. But hey, that's that. Kind of a little bit of the headlines that I was going to do at the beginning, but we got another winner here, guys. We have the Washington Commanders. All right, the Washington Commanders did a great job in free agency. They had a lot of money, and they wasted no time to spend that money. Let's start with the players that the Commanders brought back. All right, they brought back a veteran quarterback, Marcus Mariota. Mariota has been in the league for a while. You know, he's former second overall pick. He spent last season backing up Jaden Daniels. Now, I think Commanders did a good job bringing back Mariota. He can continue to mentor Jaden Daniels. You know, not every player signed is a starter, and that's okay. You know, not every player is a starter. You need your key role players as well. You know, you need your key backups in case something does happen to the stars, that they can just come in and the ship doesn't sink. So, and if you remember, Daniels last year, he had a couple of games where he missed, or a game or so where he missed, and Mariota came in, stepped in, and he, you know, didn't miss a beat, and that offense didn't miss a beat. So I like this move, bringing back Mariota, let him help mentor a young Jaden Daniels. The Commanders also brought back running back Jeremy McNichols, wide receiver KJ Osborne, tight ends John Bates and Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz, you know, signed a 1-year deal, and we weren't sure how he was going to perform, but I got to tell you guys, he was a key factor for that Commanders offense last season, and now he's back. On the O-line, they brought back offensive tackle Trent Scott and center Michael Dieter. On the defensive side, they brought back some key pieces. Edge rusher Colleen Farrell and linebacker Bobby Wagner. The Commanders weren't even close to being done there, though. They made a couple trades. The first being for Debo Samuel for a 2025 fifth round pick, which turned out to be the 147th overall. Then they sent a stockpile of picks. Now, when I say a stockpile, I mean, they sent some thirds. I think maybe a second, some thirds and fourths. I mean, nothing too crazy. No first rounders. But they did send a stockpile of picks to the Texans for offensive tackle Laramie Tunzel. So now, all of a sudden, now they have a great offensive tackle. They brought back some key pieces. Let's see how it plays out, though. Let's see how it plays out. The Commanders' offense was a lot of fun to watch last season. Young Jaden Daniels, rookie sensation, superstar Jaden Daniels, Terry McLaurin, and the rest of that offense. They were a lot of fun last year. And with the additions in free agency, it should be even more fun to watch this upcoming season. All right. Now, let's talk about the defensive signings. The Commanders bolstered their defensive line in a big way, signing edge rushers Jacob Martin, Deatrice Wise, defensive lineman Sheldon Day, and Javon Kinlaw, both of which will help the Commanders' pass rush in a big way. They also signed defensive tackle Eddie Goldman. In the secondary, they signed cornerback Jonathan Jones. They did a great job in free agency, but will need to hit home runs in the draft. The Commanders only have 5 picks, and in the first round, they don't pick till 29. So the Commanders are kind of in a similar situation I feel like the Vikings are. They don't have a lot of draft picks. They're going to have to hit the home runs. Now, they don't really need a whole lot, I don't think. But maybe they don't like the the player available at 29, so they trade back and get maybe a couple extra picks, maybe a second, maybe a third or something. We'll have to see how it goes. Guys, real quick before I move forward, Arizona receiver Tataro McMillan runs a 4.48 at his Arizona Pro Day. So he has some pretty decent speed to back up that height. That could definitely help his draft stock. I had him sliding out of the top 10 originally, but maybe after that Pro Day, maybe he's going to be back in that top 10. We'll have to see. All right, here we go. Moving forward, though, here is a winner, and I got to tell you, I'm excited, okay? I'm excited for this one. I'm so excited because it's the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, I know people may say, "Oh, you're being biased. You root for the Chargers. Of course you're going to say that they won free agency." No. If they didn't do what they did, I would have said that they lost. But now I feel the Chargers did a good job in free agency. Now, I'm not going to lie, I was a little concerned at first. Most of day one of free agency was quiet for the Chargers. They used that time to negotiate and bring back their own. So let's start there and move on to the deals the Chargers made in free agents. The Chargers brought back Taylor Heineke to back up star quarterback Justin Herbert. They brought back center Bradley Bozeman and depth at wide receiver Jalen Rager. On the defensive side, the Chargers were able to bring back edge rusher Khalil Mack, which is huge with the departure of Joey Bosa. Now, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, though, yeah, Joey Bosa's production is going to be missed, but I'm excited to see this new Chargers defense because Joey Bosa, when he's on the field, he is one of the best edge rushers in the game. The problem is he's not always on the field, all right? So with that, they bring back Khalil Mack. He did a great job. Even if he doesn't get to the quarterback, he commands a lot of double teams, which will open up, for the linebackers over his fellow defensive linemen. They added some good depth pieces in bringing back defensive lineman Tier Tart and linebacker Troy Dye and starting linebacker Denzel Perryman. Long-time Charger, came back last season, coming back again. All right, So they did a really good job bringing back their own, kind of keeping those role players, as I said, with the, Vikings and Commanders. Bringing back those role players is really key sometimes, guys. Um, Now, the free agent signing, the splash happened late Monday night when the Chargers signed running back Najee Harris. We all know that head coach Jim Harbaugh loves running the football, and signing Harris is huge and will help him do that. Najee Harris has rushed over 1,000 yards in each of his first 4 seasons in the league. The Chargers brought back veteran receiver Mike Williams, who they let go last offseason. He signed with the Jets and then traded to the Steelers. Now, he didn't do much for either one of those teams, but that's not always saying anything anyway, because, they didn't really use him. When healthy, he put up good numbers for the Chargers. So I'm excited to see how Williams does. Mike Williams and Lad McConkey. Now you got Najee Harris at running back, Justin Herbert at quarterback. Still kind of don't know about the tight end position. I don't know about the second running back yet. And who knows? But the Chargers may even try to bring back longtime Charger Keenan Allen. So, but Mike Williams, in the red zone, that's where he's going to be. That's where he's going to be at his best, using that big body frame to go up and get those 50-50 balls. So I'm excited, guys. I'm excited. To help protect Justin Herbert and open up running lanes for Najee Harris, the Chargers signed offensive tackle / guard Mekhi Becton. You might remember he played for the Super Bowl winning Eagles this past season. He got drafted as a tackle. The Eagles moved him to guard. And I like this move because now we have, Chargers have Rashawn Slater at left tackle, Zion Johnson at left guard, Bradley Bozeman at center. Then now it's Becton at right guard and Joe Alt at right tackle. So that offensive line is looking pretty good for the LA Chargers, guys. We'll have to see what the Chargers do in the draft. They have 10 picks. They have 10 picks in this draft. Oh, but before we get there, on the defensive side, Chargers bolstered their secondary signings. Dante Jackson, corner Dante Jackson, Elijah Molden, and Benjamin St. Justy. They also added edge Deshaun Hand. It is great to see Chargers making moves and improving. It will be interesting to see the direction they go in the draft. Now, they have 10 picks in the draft, guys. Now, 4 of those are in round 6. So, look for Harbaugh to really find the diamonds in the rough in round 6. They currently have the 22nd overall pick. If I had to guess, I feel tight end or edge rusher will be in play for the Chargers. I like Mike Green. Pair him up with Khalil Mack, let him learn under a veteran pass rusher and one of the best to ever do it in the game. I like Khalil Mack at the 22nd overall pick. Now, they could also still go wide receiver if they don't bring back another one. Matthew Golden is a name I'm hearing. But I really would like to see either an edge rusher or a tight end. Maybe Colston Loveland from Michigan. He's a Harbaugh guy. He knows Harbaugh's system really well, and he doesn't have a problem run blocking when he needs to. So now they could also trade back, guys. They could also trade back, and that wouldn't shock me either. Harbaugh is like, I don't like I like a player, but I can get a few extra picks. So April, the draft, it's going to be exciting. I can't wait to see how the LA Chargers handle this draft. Second year with Jim Harbaugh. Now, not every team can be a winner in free agency. And this next team, in fact, I feel like they kind of lost. All right. Now they have room for to make up for it, but this next team, the next two teams lost. Spoiler, it's both New York teams. So first up, the New York Jets had a rather quiet free agency. They didn't bring back Devontae Adams. They let Aaron Rodgers go. Though they did bring in Justin Fields. I think that was a good signing. Now he is paired with former college teammate Garrett Wilson. Wilson is excited to be reunited with his old QB. They also brought in center Josh Myers, who was Fields' center in college. So we got a little bit of the New York Buckeyes going. Yeah, but that is about the extent of the good the draft the Jets did this offseason. So it'll be interesting. They got the New York Buckeyes. Um, it'll be interesting to see how General Manager Darren Moogie, a new head coach, new GM, and new head coach Aaron Glenn handle their first draft. They will definitely need to hit some home runs in April. The Jets have 3 picks in the first 100, including the 7th overall. The Jets could try and draft Emeka Ibuka, who also played for Ohio State. They can become the New York Buckeyes. Just be like, who are you? We're the New York Buckeyes. Now, I don't expect the Jets to be a playoff team. It's going to take a couple of years to dig their way out of the hole the team is due to all the lost money with the Rodgers deal. They have 3 picks in the top 100, the first 100 picks, the 7th overall. They might trade back. They could also, I mean, they could also take a quarterback. I don't see them taking a quarterback 7th overall. Crazier things have happened, but they're going to have to hit some home runs, guys, and they're going to have to do it in a big way. I I personally would like to see them probably trade back. Trade back, get a couple extra picks, and then maybe get like best player available. They do need quite a bit. They're not going to be a playoff team, I don't think. Now, I could be wrong. Justin Fields could be the savior that the Jets or the Buckeyes, however you want to say it, is looking for. But at the same time, he could also come in and be the Justin Fields that he was in Chicago. So they're kind of losers in my book. And I didn't even get to any of their signings because nothing besides Justin Fields, nothing really stood out to me other than the Josh Myers. So I got to put them in the big O loss category, the loser category. So hopefully they turn it around. I know there's a lot of Jets fans out there, but Aaron Rodgers kind of really, really did a number on you guys with that big deal. Now you guys got all that dead money, so I don't know. We'll have to see how it goes. But for the time being, we're just gonna keep on moving. Now speaking of Aaron Rodgers, though, oh my gosh, it's like a broken record with this man in the offseason. The Giants fall in my loser side of free agency because they are just sitting around, twiddling their thumbs, got their heads up in the clouds, waiting on Rodgers to sign. I feel the Giants could have went out and made offers for other quarterbacks instead of waiting on Rodgers and his decision. They could have spent the same money on someone like Sam Darnold, who went to Seattle. Sam Darnold and his contract is worked to where the Seahawks could get out of it after this season. So they could have done something similar to that. They could have got Justin Fields even. Paired him up with Malik Neighbors. That would have been a nice tandem. Both younger and better options than old man Rodgers, but here we are. Now free agency, here we are. They're just sitting there with their thumbs and they don't know what to do. They don't know why they're waiting, but they're waiting on Rodgers. Now the free agency wasn't a Total waste. The Giants did a good job of getting some good defensive pieces, signing edge Chauncey Golston, defensive line Roy Robertson Harris. In the secondary, they were able to sign safety Javon Holland. Now, the Giants will need to attack in the draft to make up for what they couldn't get in free agency. That should be fairly easy. Out of their 8 picks, 4 of them are in the first 100. They also have pick 105, so almost 5 picks in the first 100. Now, that's pretty good. Now, if by miracle they sign Aaron Rodgers, then that will open up what they could do with the third overall pick. They could draft best player available or even trade the pick to acquire more. If they can't sign Rodgers, then they will more than likely take Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward, whichever is available. Guys, I mean, the Browns just decide, hey, I want to take like Travis Hunter, take, somebody for both sides of the ball before the Patriots get him at 4. Giants then would probably take Cam Ward if they don't sign Aaron Rodgers. If they sign Aaron Rodgers, they should 100% trade the pick or take best available, because don't take a quarterback after signing Rodgers, because he's not there to mentor another young quarterback. He's been there, done that. He doesn't want to do it again. He's even came out and said it. So it's going to be interesting, guys. This is that great time of the year. We got free agency. Now the draft's right around the corner. We're starting to kind of see teams and how they're doing. And Brian Duvall and the GM, you guys got to really do something, because you're on the hot seat. All right, you're on the hot seat, and something's got to give. So you gotta do something, and make sure that you hit on whatever draft pick you take. So, all right, what do we got going here? All right, guys. This is a short episode. I just wanted to do a quick little recap of free agency, talk about some of the winners and the losers. Thank you all for tuning in. Whether it's your first time or you're a returning listener, I could not do this without you. And just a quick reminder, if you've enjoyed the show, you can follow the channel, leave a comment, letting me know your thoughts of the episode, leave a review. These are all simple yet free ways to help the channel grow. And one last thing, if you want to talk ball, I will answer the call.